The class for today is going to be mount. And we're going to start with a simple exercise. There's a lot of beginners here at this camp, so this is going to be perfect for what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is, I'm not going to explain anything. I'm going to go mount. We're going to do the same thing. He's going to escape, and I want to keep mount. That's it. So he tries to escape. If he can catch the leg, it counts as an escape. We just reset. If he can grab my arm and bump me, well, it's an escape. You just reset. So it's not sparring. So every time he either catches a leg or bumps you over, you just reset and start again. But the class is going to be for on top. So I want to do my best to stay on top for a whole minute. Okay? That's it. I'm not going to show anything yet. So I want to see how everybody does first. How long can you keep the mount? And then we're going to start. Okay? So grab a partner. And let's go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here is the thing. For beginners, it's always fun when you finally get to the mount, you've passed the guard and you got the mount, and then within like 2 or 3 seconds you're already like bumped off and you're flying. It sucks. The thing I already saw, like the higher belts, the blue and the purples, the different thing they do compared to white belts. White belts are like this, in mount, all the way sitting up. The blue and the purples are already more like this, weight down. So that's always good. The more you put your weight down, the harder it is for him to bump me off. So one thing I really like to do is when I get to mount, like the first instance when I get to mount is not sit on my knees. My goal is, when I get to mount, I step over, I scoop my arms through the middle and get my elbows on the floor next to his head and shoot my legs back like this. I hook my feet behind his butt, knees off the floor, and squeeze my hips down into his ribs. And if I can, I just grab his head. This makes it more heavy for him because my top pressure is going to go into his ribs and makes it harder for him to breathe, makes it harder for him to move. So the first exercise is going to be, you're going to get mount, slide your arms in between, not hands on the floor, I want elbows on the floor. Elbows, and at the same time you shoot your legs back and hook him behind his butt. So you go 1, and just this. Just drop your weight on his chest. Push your hips down. Your knees should be just off the floor. Grab his head and keep your weight on this side. If I keep my weight on this side, he's still going to be able to catch my arm, and my weight is on the wrong side, and he's going to roll.
Can I ask what the function is of holding his head?
Yeah, to keep control. Because if he wants to bridge, it's easier for him when his head is on the floor. If I keep it against my chest, it's harder for him to move.
Okay.
So this, I don't like to do this. You see this sometimes, that people like hook their feet to the outside of the legs, but it's very easy for him to step over and circle to the inside and start catching. I prefer to pull my feet up and hook it behind his butt, either like crossed or just next to each other. This is harder for him to get his feet back in. You just go 1, up, and down. That's it, nothing more. Just like this. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. There are still a couple of things that can happen, so I'm going to slide in, get my hips heavy, catch the head. There are still a few things she can do, especially if my arms are still open. One of the things she can do is just push my chest up to create distance. If I stay like here, she might start putting her hand in my armpit, start pushing me that way, and now she can start escaping. So when this happens, I have to move fast. So I'm down. When she starts pushing, I'm just going to swim my hands back in and just drop my weight down. Step one. So every time she pushes, swim, open, and drop on your elbows.
Can she do that if you're holding her head? Like, can she still? Not really.
It's more difficult. But sometimes you're moving, you're trying to attack things, or when you have like a very heavy guy underneath you, like a strong, they push. So that's step one. The second thing that can happen is I have the head, and they want to like bump and roll me, either that way or that way. It doesn't really matter. So if she wants to bump me that way, it's easy. I already have the head, just bump. I just straighten this arm and keep the head. If we go back and she bumps the other way, I switch. I always want to take the head with me. Because if I don't take the head, if she just bumps and I just hold it here, I have the same problem as before. She puts her hand in my armpit, and I cannot go back. I cannot reach her anymore. She's strong now. She has a frame. So every time she bumps, I want to grab the head and straighten my other arm. Grab the head, straighten my other arm. So keep my weight. She's going to bump. Grab the head, straighten the arm. Grab the head, straighten the arm. Every time again. If she pushes up, you swim, drop back down. Every time again. Have the head straight. Okay? And make sure while you're doing those things to watch your legs. You want to keep your hips heavy, feet long. Okay? Let's try. Now we're going to start attacking. So the first part, this is what I do to keep them out. I want to get them tired. I want to make them move, drain their breath, and then I start attacking. If you start attacking right away, most of the time they start defending very good, but if you make them tired first, they start making mistakes. We're going to start attacking from the position we just did. And I'm going to show gi and no gi, although most people are in gi today. So I have this position. I'm hooked. I have the head caught with my arm already. I'm going to stay here. For the first one, I want his arms underneath me. So if I have this, perfect. If he's grabbing, even better, but it's not necessary. I'm going to stay low, put my head next to his, and I'm going to move my elbow back against his arm. I want to stop him from bringing this hand inside. It's not easy. The moment he starts feeling what's going to happen, he's going to want to bring this hand in. So I want to prevent it from the start. I don't want him to see what's happening, so I keep my head low, elbow back, and at the same time I start gripping my fingers in my own gi. If you've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while, you're going to have very painful pinkies, so you can grab like with 3 fingers. If your pinkies are still okay, you can do 4. For me, most of the time, I do it with 3. Or 2. So you just want to grip the tips, not the whole hand inside. Only like the first 2 knuckles in, and you want to get a loose grip. So 1, elbow back, shoulder down to stop him from moving his hand in. Fingers inside. Now I start pulling my knee up already. 1, hand turns in, and I'm going to slide it in front of his throat, just like a little wave. I wave, second knee comes up, and now while it's still loose, I pull everything to that side. Sorry. True. Now I make a fist. And at the same time, I make a fist on the other side, and I pull my elbows off the floor. So I have this. I stay very low. I wave my hand up. I pull with my left hand to get everything across. Fists. And then I do this. And I want to be on my knees for the last part, because I want to come up and away. I want to push down on it. to get a good connection to his throat and to put pressure. So it's a little bit harder to see from that side, so it might be easier if you all come to this side. So we're down, we already have the head caught, we made him tired. His arms are underneath my arms. So I move my head down so he doesn't see what's coming. Elbow back, fingers on the inside loosely, knee up, hand comes through, other knee comes up, and at the same time I pull it across, make two strong fists, and now I come up. So step by step. Low, elbow back, grip, knee up, hand comes in, second knee, pull it across, hand up. One, up, pull, now you make the fist. And then push. Okay? One more time, or is it good for everybody?
One more, please.
One more?
Where do you put your right arm? What are you grabbing? Here or your own?
This one, I'm not gripping
You're not
anything.
gripping
You just
it?
hold it?
I'm just doing this. This
Yeah.
part is gonna come
Yeah.
like across, like this.
Yes.
And the moment I'm gonna push my fists down and
Yeah.
my body up.
Okay.
So this one is gonna put pressure on this side. The other one is gonna put pressure on the other side. Okay, so one more. Yeah.
Why do you only want it at your first knuckles and not your hand fully inside?
Otherwise, it will be. My gi is pretty big at the moment, but most of the time you have like a more skinny gi. It makes it harder to put your hand in, and if you put it all the way fully in the beginning, it will be hard to get your hand across. And when it's fully in, very hard to make like fists. When you grab this, you have more space to bring it over, to slide it, and then lock it. Okay? Okay, so now let's do the no-gi first. No, you can leave it on, so it's just easier to show. So we do the same thing. So that thing is to come out to this side. You see the hand action. Let's move back a little bit. Let's turn a little bit like this. Yes. Okay, so it's going to be the same position. Feet hooked, hips down, quad the head. It's all basically the same thing. I'm here, my head down, elbow back to prevent him from easily putting his hand inside. Now I'm going to grip my bicep. And I want to do two things at the same time. While I grip my bicep, I want to slide this hand in already. So I don't want to be like this and then want to move my hand in, because it's going to be hard. I have to lift my head, go across his face, and he's going to start blocking it. So when I'm here, I want to do like this. So I push, hand waves in again, slide it in, and I want to put my right hand in my own armpit. So not in front. If I put it in front, he's going to be able to use this hand to start gripping it and get it out. So I want in, slide, and do like this in my own armpit. It's hard to see because it's also compact and not a lot of space. But this is a movement. I have the head, elbow back, hand up, slide it in like this. And then you finish it like you would finish a rear naked choke. Elbows tight. So we have one, back, hand up, slide it in, get a good grip, and now I start squeezing my elbows back.
What if your bicep is too big?
Same question.
issue.
Let's girls, let's busy girls.
Lift less. No, I don't. I think you can always grip your own bicep. Interesting question, though. So one, position, wave the hand underneath the armpit, and now squeeze from your elbows. So this, and then this. Everything together. So it's almost the opposite as the previous one was pushing away. This one is squeezing together. Yeah?
So your weight on your forearm, the one squeezing in from weaving in like this. So this goes on the side, or because you don't want
Yeah.
to go across
This goes on the side of his neck. Like the one that's in your armpit
Yeah.
is like here.
Okay. So you weave it across and you put weight on that way.
Yeah, like this. So I'm not really putting weight down. I'm not pushing down. I'm squeezing my elbows towards my ribs.
Squeezing out the slab.
Yeah. Okay. Good for everybody?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Your feet or your legs, with gi you do it with the high knees?
Yeah. With gi, I go to the high knees because I want to push off.
Okay,
With this one, you can stay low.
yeah.
You can stay hooked all the time, and you can do it gi or no gi. So with this one, I want to stay here. I want to be like 1, 2, and squeeze. So you don't change the position of the knees and the feet and the legs.
Can you talk your student to not do it?
Hard. You can try if you're on time. Like if you feel it coming, you can tuck your chin in, but it's still going to be very painful because you're going to take all the pressure on your chin, on your jaw. And yeah, you can.
My feet clench, my teeth clench when he does it, so. I have to defend much earlier.
The biggest worry you have to have is this hand coming in. If I'm too open, like here, and this one is inside, this makes it hard because he can stop my hand from coming in. So if I can take this one out,
It's worse if I try to.
yeah,
If I try to defend with my chin, it's even worse. Only my palms. If I get my palms in, I have a chance.
yeah. And you can take your time for this one, like squeeze it in. Okay? Yep. 1, 2, 3. So same position. It's gonna be the last one for today. So what if one arm comes in? So I'm here, I'm hooked. No, like when we have more like this. When he's not really like, a lot of people will start pushing on your knees and the arms are low. Sometimes the arm is high and he keeps feeding it in and yeah. So it's like here, up. So this happens a lot when they want to start bumping. They want to grab like this arm, like the bump sweep. They grab this and they want to bump like this way. So the arm is high now. My left arm, so I'm not gonna fight to get to the previous position. I'm just gonna accept this. I want to get this arm high, and now I want, with my left one, I want to grab his armpit. So it's gi and no gi. I grab the armpit. I want this as high as possible, and now I want my head on the other side. So how I want to do this, I don't want to push his arm through because he's going to feel it and he's going to resist it and he's going to fight back. I want to get this high. Now I want to move my head underneath his armpits, all the way up, and I want my head against his head now. This hand stays on the floor. My toes go on the mat. I'm gonna base on my forehead. Knees come up, and now like a knee slide pass over his belly. So I put my knee over first. I don't wanna swing my leg over because he might catch it. So I wanna get my knee across his belly. Slide, slide, slide. Belly down. Now the most important thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move back. And I move back because I want, sorry. I want my bicep under his jaw, under his chin, against his neck. If I stay high, I'm gonna be like cross-facing, and I wanna be low. So I have this. Now I grab my hands together, palm on palm or S-grip, like this way down around his head, like this or like this. And I wanna stay flat on my belly and low enough. Now I start squeezing and just sliding away a little bit. And that was already it. So we have the arm triangle. And if you do it correctly, it costs almost like no power or, how do you say it?
Energy.
Energy, yeah. I don't need to be like squeezing like crazy. Just one a little adjustment and it's done. So we have this, his arm is high. I'm here. I start grabbing the armpit for control. Walk this up as high as possible. I can block, move my head underneath, slide it all the way up. Hand is still connected. Toes on the floor to come up. Knee slide off. Belly down, and I slide back first. Now I connect the hands. Now I start squeezing and walking up. When I squeeze, I want to push my shoulder down into his neck. So I want to make like this movement. It's not really like arm force, more like flattening out. So, one more time. One, I grip, the arm is up, I block, move the head, slide all the way up. Knee slide pass, and move it. Hands connect, flat on the belly, start squeezing, and that's the finish. Okay, yeah?
At the end, your weight is on your feet, or you just put your belly on the
Belly on the floor, yeah. So I'm not trying to transfer weight onto him now, I'm just squeezing. I want to be as flat as possible. Okay? So this will be the last one, so we're going to do 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3. So it was the last part of the class. We're running a little bit late. So sorry. So the next class is going to be with Garni. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you still have some questions about anything we did, come find me. I'll be here later at the open mat. Yeah, that's about it from me. So I hope you liked it. Thank you.